Well, you guys got a chance to be out here with us a little bit. We wanted to learn a lot about our players as much as we could in a weekend's time about who they are, and also to try to gain as much as we can about them as football players. And meanwhile, we were letting them know about who we are and what they can expect about being part of this program and this culture. It worked out really well. It was fun. We had a good time doing it. They worked really hard. They just studied every second. We filled up their days as much as we could, and they got Seahawks 24/7 when they're here, so it was great. And on we go. As I talk to these guys, this is the start of their career. This isn't the finish of their career. This is the start of it, and I'm hoping that they'll stick to their purpose and their opportunities and maximize them. Not everybody will have a chance to be here, but we'll get as many of them as we can. And they have done their audition with us in the sense. And so as we look for players down the road, there'll be guys that come out of this class right here in this group of guys. So it was a very, very successful weekend.
Who stood out to you?
I was so caught by the draft picks. You know, I thought everybody was able to show something, and the tackles jump out right off the bat. You know, that both guys look well equipped physically. They look like they can move like we would hope they can move. They're both bright kids, and we'll pick up their stuff. So the process is underway. I was really fired up about that. The It's an interesting matchup that we have because we have two outside rushers that are here too, you know, and Tyreek didn't get to do quite as much work because he had a little bit of a soreness that we had to take care of. But Boye did a really good job and really had a chance to show. And it's just like molten clay, you know. He's such a new player to what we're doing. It's going to be really exciting to see what he can go because he's got great physical tools. On the other end of it, you know, we had out on the outside, you know, with the receivers and the corners, man, just those were the guys. You know, they couldn't. I can't keep my focus on these corners. We got to bring them along quickly, give them a chance to get their work done. Unfortunately, Tariq wasn't able to do everything, but he got a ton of walkthroughs. He knows his assignments. He understands what we're asking him. We'll just have to wait to get his hammy right in the weeks ahead here to see what he can do. Receivers did a nice job, and showed like they're totally different players, and which is what we were hoping for, and they bring a uniqueness to us. And not to leave Ken out of that deal because Ken can do everything we need him to do. There's no question, and we've seen him on film. We've seen him, you know, play the game. We needed to see how he learned and how he picked things up, and he's going to just roll right through it. So. Everybody's got some already. We can see areas that we want to work on with individual guys, and we're really focusing on that right now as they go home this next week and get ready to come back. We want them to be clear on where, you know, the things that we want them to work on. So, really the draft picks.
You mentioned the tackles. Do you feel like you guys have enough offensive tackle depth kind of going into training camp?
Yeah, I'm excited about the competition of it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and it's a great opportunity for Stone. You know, this is his chance, and Jake, you know, got to start a resume, you know, last year playing and did a nice job, and so they'll come back. And I've already talked to these guys that they see the game differently already as they do when they, you know, from the freshman to sophomore year. It just flips so much. So we'll see if they can take advantage of what they see new. And I know Jake was really fired up about coming back and, you know, and just not being in the blur of camp and all that. So we'll see how it goes.
What does it mean to you to have a rookie camp like this after the last 2 years? Things a little bit more normal, I guess, this time.
It does feel more normal, and we were able to do everything that we normally have done, you know, in the past, so it gives these guys the best chance, you know. Okay, now they come back and they'll be involved in the off season after this camp, and it's just the right stagings to teach all that they have to learn, you know. So it feels good, feels right, and we'll try to max it out.
Did you get to learn about Levi Lewis?
He's a leader. He's a leader. You can just tell. Matter of fact, he had a chance to shoot off in the representing the offense today, and went into OT and hit a game winner. You know, and the kind of stuff that you kind of expect from a guy who has a background and experience like he's had.
How far was the game winner? Deep?
Oh, it's within the Seahawk depth. It's kind of on an incline. You know, it's got a plus or minus factor there. You know, and as you know, and I'd say it's about an 18-footer.
On defense, Levi Jones had a pretty good senior season at North Carolina State. What do you see from him at linebacker?
He looks the part. He's quick and really athletic. He's got a good kind of general background of what he's played, and you can see he's got a lot of athleticism. He's really fast, really fits the bill. So one of the guys that wasn't the draft picks that I totally picked up on and was excited to see him. And you can kind of picture he could be a special teamer. He could play a little bit outside, play a little inside backer for you if you need him to, and he'll be able to match up with guys. So he had a good camp, really good camp.
When you have local tryouts before the draft, what are you looking for, and what determines who you bring to something like this?
Yeah, we're looking for something that sparks. Greg, we got to see something. And we. I want to say this again. I said it before. When we asked these guys whether they were going to run or not, these are the tryout guys, and we're going to run a 40, and about a third of them raised their hand that they weren't going to run. I mean, that's not the signal that I'm looking for. I want the guys that are coming out here to show that they're going to do everything they can to make a place rather than try to avoid losing out on it. And so a bunch of them turned around and ran, which wasn't really what I was hoping. So we're looking for anything that we can see that sparks us, and it could be quickness, it could be hops, it could be attitude, it could be whatever, competitiveness that we can figure out from the day, and there's a lot of gut responses there, and evaluation being done because you don't have a whole lot to work with.
With what you're trying to do defensively now, what are you looking for in defensive tackles?
Well, we need the big run stopping guys, just like we have. We get the guys that fit perfectly, with Al and Puna and Monet. Those guys can really fill it up inside. That allows us to deploy them with the inside backers so that we can come off the edge with our edge guys, which really is, of anything, that's the biggest, clearest emphasis for us to adjust.
You've got a lot of talent and experience coming back at the guard positions, but how nice was it to be able to sign a player like Chamiris Gilmore, who's got like 5,000 snaps?
Yeah, he's played a ton of football. He's a good ball player, and he's been a leader in the program. And you can tell he's got a good awareness about him and good presence. And so we're happy to have him coming back. You don't have enough guys ever, so hopefully he'll be able to fit into it.
Did any of the safeties stand out to you at all? The 4 or 5?
Yeah. There was. I thought Joey Blunt did some nice stuff, and Bubba did some good stuff too, ranging around back there. Showed us some instincts and all that. I think I had mentioned Edmund on the first day. Those guys, they showed some sparks. That's what we're looking for, and then we got to figure out which guys we can bring back and all that.
The first week with the veterans, the quarterbacks, Drew and them, what did you see out of
that they really are really focused to show well. These guys understand what's at stake and the comp of it all, and so they were really tuned in. They're giving everything they got, everything they were doing. From the communication part of it, they're studying extra, they're getting in early. They're trying to make sure that they put themselves in the best position. It's really obvious. So Gino has come back. Like we said, he has so much command of what we're doing that he just automatically is ahead. And so and he's trying to ride that, and build on that. So I'm proud of the way he's taking to it.
Got a deep 3 guy, Josh Giogo. How does that get on your radar?
That's really the work of the scouts to get out there and they just keep on listening and talking and kind of relentlessly competing to figure it out. Is there a guy in my area that might, they don't want a guy in their area to be picked up by somebody else, that's from a small school. And so they, they're combing through it and the names pop up, and his film in particular, it looked like some old style film, it wasn't great stuff, but use your imagination, and he's a big, good looking kid, and the coaches really raved about him. So guys like that would really go on the coach's recommendation a lot too, so he was out here banging it around.
What was the idea behind changing up the minicamp dates?
Well, we've done it before, and after a week, and also I have to go down to Stockton for something, so I couldn't be there. So I thought it would be pretty important if I would be there. So maybe be the only person that thought that. I could ask Mike about that. I don't know, but so I wanted to be there when it happened. So I made it.
Now teaching them with some vets and coach up some rookies. What have you learned about Sean Desai, Carl as teachers?
Yeah. Oh no, these guys they're doing a marvelous job. I'm really impressed. I will say that forever on these guys. Their command of what we're doing and their attention to the process, the teaching process, is really something. We're doing things. We're teaching differently than we have. What are you guys hanging around for? See a couple corners hanging around out here. See you in a minute. Oh, go ahead. I'll find. I'll be done in 2 seconds here. So that's about it, Mike. You didn't get a question in. Sorry. No, yours? Oh, okay. Wrap up if you would, please. It's just the way we're breaking things down, and part whole method. Could take you right back to objective behavior and trying to train guys how to learn stuff, and so it's good stuff.
Some of the guys you had here last year that were able to take part in this, like Kate Johnson, Jared Hewitt, and so forth. Is there anybody from that group that you're kind of looking forward to seeing?
Ask the question again, please.
Guys like Kate Johnson, Jared Hewitt, guys who were here with you last year that were able to take part in this. Is there anybody that you're looking from that group looking to see what they can do in this?
Well, they're a big deal here because they set the example, and they really show the guys and they make sense of it. And as coach says something, they'll say, yeah, what he's really talking about. They'll fill them up with the information. So they're real important to it. That's mainly what we get out of it, is those guys being the leaders in this group. So these guys have somebody to look up to. I think I got to go because I got to see these guys before they get on the bus.
Anything else?
Can I ask you one thing? KJ Wright mentioned he'd love to come back this weekend.
I love KJ. I've already talked to him about stuff for the future and all that. I did hear that he talked about playing, and we've already talked about that. See you.